Hi Scrubs, I hope you're well.
Hello, you awesome people.
Hello, Starfam.
And welcome back to the Soul Riders podcast. It's the end of March, or the March has actually passed when you listen to this. But for us, it is actually the very, very last day of March. Actually, quite fitting, because we're going to be talking a bit about March, but mostly the topic. But first, we want to thank you all, of course, for the very good response and the feedback that we got from our last podcast that I've heard from TC was very nice. Yes, good. But we have, as usual, a new topic, which is Star Stable lore or game lore. Mostly Star Stable lore, yeah. And for that, we have, of course, a guest, and it is none other than Esmeralda Silverforce, also called Monocerus. Welcome!
Welcome.
Oh, and thank you.
Yay! We're so happy that you're here, and we can say that you have been very wished for. You have been wished.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes, of course, you are. I might add that you are the creator of your Wikipedia, which is like huge.
Yes.
At least it is for me. I feel like it's cool.
Did not really start out that way, but then it just went somewhere.
But it's like the biggest Wikipedia there is, isn't it?
The Swedish version has been in the top 3 of fan-made wikis in Sweden. Not sure how it is today, but it has been at least. So that's something.
Yeah, that's really cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
So of course you're going to present yourself for the people who doesn't know you. So how long have you played Star Stable Online?
I have been playing Star Stable since October of 2011, October 4th to be precise. I was the 22nd player to ever enter the game, so there you have some fun fact.
Wow. There's no noobing here. No.
Oh, I've been here for a long time.
Like, this is legendary stuff, people. Okay, and you actually now work at Star Stable Entertainment.
I do. My
What do you
huge
do?
interest for the game turned into me being employed.
Wow.
So I'm currently working as a content producer and has been doing so for a while.
How long?
The collaboration with Star Stable started out in 2015.
Yeah.
I started doing some tutorial videos and helped out with some, basically writing down the game lore because they barely could figure it out themselves, and I knew that I was a huge game lore nerd, so that's how everything began, which is fitting for today. And nowadays I work full-time for Star Stable.
Yeah, that is like everyone's dream.
Yeah.
At least mine.
Yeah.
So you're living the dream that everyone wants. But that is so cool. So where could we find you on social media?
I am quite a lot on social media, so I have an Instagram account called Gaming by Esme. I have 2 separate YouTube channels, one in Swedish, which is called Esme Silverforce, and one in English, which is called Monocerus. And I also have a blog called monocerus.se, which we only maintained in Swedish.
Like, I have no idea how you do this. You have so many channels. I have 3, and I can't handle it. You're like amazing. Just gonna say.
I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just figuring it out as I go.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, as we all do with adulting.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so welcome again. We're very happy to have you here.
Thank you.
Yes, and so it's been March. 31 days has passed, or more, or less. I can't remember when we posted an episode last. But there has been at least a month of March has passed. And so I want to hear what everyone has been doing. TC, have you painted?
No.
Wow.
Wow.
I know. I haven't. I was sitting trying to think, what have I done this month? And
Not painted.
it doesn't. Yeah, not painted is obviously one of them. But I was like, I don't actually know. But no, I have been busy. But my voice is a little bit better.
Oh, that's great.
That's good.
So I did actually go to the doctor with my voice.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I know. I was expecting them just to be like, oh, gargle salt water, and I was gonna be like, no, I already done that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm still sometimes losing it, but
Yeah.
it's not as bad as it was. But yeah, I can't actually think what I have done. I just know that I've done so much that I probably just don't really remember. Most of it, in terms of what I've done in the game, I have arranged a couple of events now that are actually going to take place in April for my club. One of them is going to be a cross-country event. It'll be in collaboration with another club on Unicorn Forest, and then the second thing is just going to be for my club, and it's going to be a dressage music competition, which we've never done before. So I'm very excited to see how that turns out, because it's been highly requested.
Interesting.
But it's how we're going to do it is the interesting part. So like,
Is it the dice concept?
We're using the dice concept, but we're gonna have to use like Discord and a Discord music bot, so that everyone can hear the music at the same time the person's actually performing it. So that's the idea.
Wow.
So we're gonna see how that goes.
I'm looking forward to hearing how that went. Like, yeah. Okay. So I'm figuring for April that you have painted.
I will.
You will have a go.
I promise.
Yes.
If I say it now, and I promise I have to do it. So.
Yes. I'm looking forward to next episode already. Cece, what have you been up to in March? I haven't seen you much.
Yeah, well, but that kind of feels weird because I feel like I've been playing more since last month.
That says a lot about me.
Yeah, but maybe like on different times or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been hanging out with the club, being on some events. Finally, you held your To Jorvik.
Yes, trail ride. Yep.
Yeah.
I
I've
did.
been like wishing for it for like so long. I was like, yeah.
It finally happened.
Yeah, a dream come true.
For you.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, let's just get it over with. Let's just get the fjords.
Yeah. Just shut her up.
Oh.
I'm tired of her nagging.
I'm looking forward to hear your future wishes.
Yeah.
Cannot be fjord. Okay.
Other than that, I have been cat sitting.
Cats. Yes.
Yeah, I love cats. So if you hear something weird, it's probably her.
Yeah. So she likes to talk.
Yeah, especially if you have like if you're eating something, she's like, "Very food."
Yeah. Okay.
Like screaming at you forever.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Nice. Well, March for me often means birthdays, including my own. So I had to survive my own birthday and other people's birthday. So there has been a lot of birthday parties and dinners. On top of that, I did my last course in school. Well, not really my last, but I don't really count my internship as a course because it's not really in school. But it's still a course. But when it comes to like real school stuff where you have to be in school and do assignments and all that kind of stuff, that I'm done with now, which is terrifying. I have also found the time to be sick. I managed to squeeze that in this month. When it comes to the game, I have been playing when I can. Did manage some when I was sick. Squeeze that in as well. Done some events and of course recording videos and tried blogging. The blog has been low. Yep. And my Instagram has also been low. I don't know why. But yeah, it's basically been like sort of wrapping up a chapter of my life, because now it's like a new chapter coming into my life that I have to prepare for. So that's exciting. Which will be interesting to tell you all about in next month. But yeah, that's been my month. How has yours been, Esme?
Eventful. I keep thinking that I don't really have much to do in my life, and then I tell people what I do, and people go like, "How do you survive?" I'm not entirely sure. I tend to take Fridays off every now and then and go to work at a little stable out in the middle of nowhere, which is why I often post horse pictures on my Instagram.
Yeah.
And I just came back from there today. I've been there for 3 days working with kids. I've had a group of 7 kids there learning to ride, and gonna meet them again in May, and going back there again on Friday for another group of kids. So I've been there quite a lot this month. Also been recording a lot of videos for all my YouTube channels. And Star Stable has been moving offices, so there's been a lot of things surrounding the move.
And we have seen the pictures and the stories. We're still waiting on a YouTube video of the office, but we've seen a lot.
We still have a lot to do until everything is done, so we are still setting up stuff, still buying some things we need to have everything in order, making sure we know what we want to do, and just making everything more finalized before we really want to show it all to the world. But it's getting there. I used to think that we might have to wait at least a month just to get settled down and see how everyone wants to have their working space. We're going to move around a lot to ensure that everyone has their optimal working space so they can be as efficient and happy as possible at work.
That's good. It's very important for the environment to be good and everything at the office. And also it is kind of fun when you say that you do, because I remember you said that you don't have vacations, you have workations.
Exactly.
Are you ever on vacation, like real vacation?
Oh, no.
No, okay.
I don't know if you guys know that, but in Sweden it's very common to have 5 weeks of paid vacation. At Star Stable we have 6 weeks of paid vacation. It's quite unusual, but the company has decided to do so in order for all the employees to be as happy as possible, and also the gaming industry is known to work their employees into the ground. Star Stable does not want to do that, and ensures we have loads of vacation. So I spend every single day of my vacation to be at that stable and working with horses.
Perfect. So it sort of is a vacation.
Yeah, so that's why I say it's a workation, because I do take vacation but do go away to work.
Are you getting paid for it?
Yes.
Oh, darn.
I do get my vacation days paid from Star Stable because of course they're my employees, and I do get paid at my other workplace.
Wow, okay, that is amazing. Okay, so March has been busy for everyone, basically, on and off. But leaving March behind, we're going into the topic of today, which might be new for a lot of people who are not very much into games in general. Can we sort of just take a moment to explain what game lore is?
Would you like me to try?
Yes, please.
I would say that the game lore is a bit of the backstory, the legends, and basically an explanation of how the world works in a game. So, for example, the game lore in Star Stable would involve the entire legend of Aideen, the entire concept of having Soul Riders and Dark Riders, and basically everything that makes up the world that you visit every time you log on to Star Stable.
That was a very good explanation.
Thank you. I had about 15 minutes to think it up.
It is a very bizarre concept, but it just it's sort of risen from the game, from the communities of game, I guess, mostly. I think so anyway. I don't know. But it is something that a lot of people either nerd, like deep into, or people don't care at all. But of course, we are going to get into the nerdying of game lore, especially in Star Stable. But first, is lore something you like to get into in all games? Just want to see how everyone is feeling about lore in general. Let's start with Cici.
Well, I'm not entirely sure because I do like games, but these past few years I've been nerding Star Stable so much, so all other games have been like put aside a bit. So I guess my answer to that would be no to games in general. But with Star Stable I'm like super nerdy.
Okay.
I do have a background with playing World of Warcraft. Since I was a young teenager. And that game has like a ridiculous huge amount of lore. It's like it's insane. So I guess with World of Warcraft, it's like I have like another experience because with Star Stable and Jorvik, I have like from the very beginning, I was subscribed to the Swedish horse book club called Pollux, and with that I got the very first games with the Starshine Legacy, which is basically like the base of Star Stable Online.
Yeah.
So I kind of have been, like with the game lore, I have been with Jorvik from the start. So that's why it's very fun to me. But with World of Warcraft, it's like you're thrown in there and then it's like, it's so much that you just don't care because it's too much.
Yeah, you don't know where to start.
Yeah, so you're like, whatever, I just pick and choose my own stuff I like, and then I just like, okay, that's not important.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
For myself, I would say, in a way, I do love games that has a story, and if the story is good, I love to get deep into it. Like now, I just love watching Red Dead Redemption 2 videos from people that has like made their mission to find an answer to everything in the game. So, yeah, that is like, they are on another level of game lore. I just like to watch them do it. I'm not a fan of getting there myself. So I would say yes, but I don't play that many games that has a story just because, at least before, it was the reason that I didn't like games that was so violent.
Yeah.
So I never really got the chance to play the games that has a story. Like it's mostly like The Sims and City Skylines, and they don't have a story.
Yeah.
Or you make your own story in The Sims, in a way. It's hard to make game lore of that. So yeah. I want to say yes, and I think I would be if I played more story-based games. But yeah, so that's me. Esme, how's you?
Well, it depends a bit on the game I'm playing. I don't play a lot of MMOs. Basically, the only one I play is Star Stable because I don't feel that I have the time to put into other MMOs. And game lore tends to be a huge part in especially MMOs because you can always continue to build upon them and you have a community that will last for a longer amount of time.
Yeah.
I do play a lot of Pokemon though, and that IP is huge, which means that there's a lot of game lore as well, since it has been a game franchise going on for more than 20 years now, 21 now this year, and they have been expanding upon their world so many times that they have built an enormous community, especially on YouTube. I'm having loads of fun watching different videos on YouTube where people try to explain how and why different things are happening and stuff like that. The only other game I can think about is the Harry Potter games, but of course they do also come from the Harry Potter books. They also borrow a lot from the Harry Potter movies, and they all lead into the IP that J.K. Rowling, of course, created.
Yeah.
So it's not really made up in the game lore, and also the games aren't really canon, but I do think that they expand upon their own world, which makes them really fun to follow. But I would say that I don't really... If there would be any lore in the games I would play, I would probably get into them. But as it is today, I don't really play any games that expand upon game lore more than what SSO does.
Oh, okay. Interesting. And TC?
For me, it does depend, because if I like the likes of like Horse, there's no backstory really to that at all. It's just really more strategy. And there's a lot of other games I play that are mainly just strategy games, and there isn't a lot of lore. Skyrim, I remember sometimes when I was playing it, something would be mentioned that obviously was a reference to maybe Oblivion or something like that, and I'd be like, well, I never played Oblivion because I didn't have the right console back then. So I would have found myself going and Googling something to find out more, maybe about a particular thing, or maybe a particular demon or something that I'd met along the way, or a particular character, or maybe a dragon. So in that regard, I would have been looking up things to find out more about it. And I think for me, I usually have to, I think with a game with lore and things like that, it has to be like, there has to be a character that intrigues me, or something that I'm kind of like, where does that come from, or what is that a reference to? So I think for me, that's usually when I get more involved in it. And I think Star Stable has a very good one in that kind of sense, because there's actually quite a lot, and I don't think that I know a lot of it. I mean, I've played 3 of the old games now, and I still have the rest to finish. And I learned quite a lot from that, because that obviously led in from the Starshine Legacy games. I think of 3 of those played so far. And there's things that I picked up on that I was like, oh, okay, this is kind of where this has come from then in Star Stable. So that in that regard. Now, one of the more recent games that I've played that I actually paid more attention to the lore slightly was Debbie Daylight has lore for all of the characters.
I was like, does it even have a story? But okay. But okay,
yeah. It actually does. So they create lore around each character. So for example, when I first started playing it, I was just playing it. And then I was like, oh, hold on, these characters have stories. And then you would read the stories of the killers, and you'd read the stories of the survivors, and it was like, you could really you would actually sort of feel sorry for some of the killers because of some very tragic thing that
things aren't black and white, basically.
Yeah, so it kind of was interesting in that, and I kind of liked that because it gave a backstory to each individual person, and I think added more to that, whereas it just had been, without that, I think it wouldn't have had the same kind of effect. Like, yes, you could probably still play it and enjoy it, but I don't think you'd appreciate it to the same level, and they're always building and adding more onto it. We recently had what is termed the oldest killer in the game ever, which is a priestess who is around during plague. So it kind of goes, that's her story evolves.
Okay.
So I think for me it does depend, because sometimes it can be a game that'll bring up maybe some kind of interesting fact that maybe does relate to the real world too, and then I'll be like, oh, I didn't know that, so I'll go and look into that. So I guess for me that's where I would kind of sit with game lore, because there's some games that I've played and I've never really looked into it, but then other ones where I'm like really intrigued or very interested in. So I think it does depend a lot on the game.
Okay. So everyone has their own interest in game lore, which is not weird, because game lore is like, it's big, and it all depends. But what do you think make a good game lore? And by that, I guess, I think for myself, when you feel that someone, I feel for me, a good game lore is when someone has put a lot of time into making sure every detail has been taken into consideration. Like for Red Dead Redemption 2, it's 2. It is amazing when all people on YouTube like, oh, I found this in the game, or I found this character that has apparently been lost for 15 years, and everyone is looking for her, but she has never been found. Like those kinds of stuff. It's just so small details that doesn't even revolve the main story, and it's so big. And it's like, you understand now why it has taken 8 years to make the game, sort of. But then there are like, another game like Absu.
Lovely game.
It's a lovely game, and I do love it. Like, I had tons of fun, but when it comes to game lore, I was so confused of the story. Like, you would swim around and you'd be like, oh, pretty animals and all pretty, and then you stuff on the wall. You're like, okay, I guess they're ancient or they're modernizing. I just never got to know I felt like I ended that game really not knowing what it was all about.
I think that's a bit of a point for the game.
Yeah, okay.
That you're supposed to be confused while playing it, or that you're supposed to make up the story by yourself, because you're basically the explorer of an ancient civilization, and you're gonna have to be the one figuring out what's going on, and maybe the answer is for you to decide.
But I got the feeling that the character that we were playing sort of came from that. It wasn't just a random explorer. It felt like it was someone that was from that society.
I agree on that.
Yeah. So, that is probably a game. Maybe that was the point that we were supposed to debate. Like, what is this? But it was an amazing game. Like, I can totally recommend people to play Absu.
It's absolutely amazing.
It's absolutely amazing. But what do you think, Esme? What does make a good game lore?
What you said, it has to be immersive. It has to keep the details in order. And I'd say that for the point of the game lore, like how I would like it to be, Star Stable is nowhere near that point yet. It's not. It doesn't contain enough Easter eggs. It doesn't have enough information. It's on its way. enough for it to actually be a really immersive game lore. If you compare that to, let's say, for example, the Pokemon games where they had 20 years to figure their thing out, and they have explanations to how the universe started to exist,
That's true.
how life came to be, like cloning, how human beings started to mess around with science. They have their
explanation for everything.
If you look at Star Stable Online, we don't have that yet because we haven't gotten to that point in time.
Okay.
So we have some short explanations, like there are some theories on how humans came to Jorvik. I'm not entirely sure if that has been explored for real yet. I don't think that has been really... But there are some ideas on how that might have happened. How horses came to Jorvik, how the source of Aideen showed up. But still, it's very loose. You still can't really connect any threads and make an entire timeline of what's going on. So there's a lot of plot holes as of today. So not really good enough yet, but we are getting there.
Yeah, that's true. Looking forward to that. now that you made just like Easter eggs and stuff, like, oh yeah, that's true. We don't have that. Like, you get a bit of homeline.
But there are very, very few.
Oh, can you mention one?
Example, nowadays we have a photo of Anne in the Silverglade post office. So if you click on it, you will see it enlarged. And also there has been a couple of newspapers lying around in different areas in the game where you can click on it and read an article about Anne and her disappearance.
Oh yeah, right, that's true.
And that's quite recently added, simply because to add to the immersiveness.
Is the picture in the post office the same one that was in the Starshine Legacy game?
Oh, it is redrawn, so the concept artist Matilda has made her own version of it. Since the old one was very, very old, and we decided that we needed some updated art to use.
Yeah. No, it's just because one of my club, I think, took a picture of it and was like, oh, look what I found. And I was thinking, that looks exactly like, it was very, very, very similar.
Yeah, the point is to have it from the same photo shoot, but it's not supposed to be the exact same picture, because also the concept artist who drew the concept for Starshine Legacy doesn't work with Star Stable anymore. So we don't really want to use the 15-year-old artworks when the game does not represent what it was 15 years ago.
That's true. Good idea. Okay. Cici, what do you think makes good game lore?
Well, yeah, I do agree with what you have all been saying, and I do also think that there's need to be a good balance between familiarity and mystery. So you, like Esme mentioned, you need to get immersed in the story. You need to care about the characters in the story. And for that to happen, you kind of need to be able to relate to the characters at some point, feel like you can connect with them.
Yeah.
But also, you kind of want the feeling of mystery, because you play a game to... Well, I can only speak from personal experience, but for me, it's like I want to escape from reality for a little while. So... that's when the element of mystery is really good to have.
Yeah.
Because then you can dream away in a mysterious world and, do the magic.
Okay.
So, So, also, it's really important that you have a continuity in the storyline. For example, I do have been playing Star Stable for quite some years now, and I have a lot of accounts because I wanted to replay the story. And I have noticed that when you play some quests, the quests are set to be in a specific order, but sometimes you can get a quest before it's supposed to happen.
Oh, yeah.
So you kind of go to a person that you previously had a quest with, and then you get a new quest that was supposed to be before that quest. So then when you go to that quest clear again, it's like, oh, hi, I've never seen you before. It's like, I just talked to you.
Those are really unfortunate.
Yeah. I actually know one, and that is Saving Herman. You get all those at once, and at the end, oh, there's gonna be spoilers, but there is one character that pops up there you go. Like in that moment, you're supposed to know who that person is, but you actually haven't. But if you haven't done the other quests, with the main story quest, you shouldn't know who that is. So it's like, oh, hi.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have known. I should have played this in the right order, because that happened to me through a let's play, and I was like,
oh wow, oh no. Yes.
So I can say that the entire like quest chain structure right now is a bit messy, because of course there are a lot of quest chains and a lot of different people that's been working on them throughout the years. So there is a process of mapping them out and structuring, but it is a huge process which will take a lot of time. But sooner or later it will probably get better, as people can start to figure out where each thread will lead and what will connect to each other.
We will just have to redo our Let's Plays in the future. Like start from the beginning.
That day. 4 years now, and I don't really see the light at the end of the tunnel yet.
No.
I don't know why, but like, I guess when some characters be like, "Oh, I haven't met you before," I'd be thinking, "You're just denying that I helped you with this, this, and this, and this. You don't want to pay me for the work I did." So I guess for me, that kind of maybe I just don't worry about it so much. Like Gavin, for example, Gavin and Jarlahead. He's just like, you know, and that's the way he comes across. So I'm like, if he was to turn around and go, "Oh, who are you?" I'd just be like, "Oh, Gavin," because that would just be Gavin.
I mean, if he ever would know your name, I'd be very concerned.
Yes, exactly. So I guess maybe that I kind of took some of that, like that. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I read it differently.
All of your region people are like, "Who are you? Who are you? What are you doing?" Don't remember you. You were here yesterday? Oh, yeah. No, I went to bed. Okay. What do you think makes good game lore, TC?
Well, I actually kind of have a question. Have any of you played the Red Dead Redemption with the Undead Nightmare?
No, I actually have not.
Well,
but I know what it is.
Yeah, I absolutely loved it, and I loved the lore in it. And it was like it all kind of accounts. It shouldn't have worked.
Yeah,
you know, that, like,
cowboys and zombies.
Zombies. It shouldn't have worked, but it worked beautifully, and I think it was one of the things that I really, really enjoyed when it came to game lore, and it should have been sort of silly and ridiculous. But they brought in a lot of different lore about different mythical creatures, and like the Chupacabra, for example. And I was like, oh, I wonder what a Chupacabra is. So I went and looked up what a Chupacabra was. You know, so they would bring in different sort of myths and legends about different mysterious creatures. And then you could go looking for those mysterious creatures. So it was a different element to just Red Dead Redemption, and I loved that, and I desperately want them to do it with the second one.
Oh, no.
I haven't yet played...
I would have played it.
Made Assassin's Creed, for example. In their recent edition Odyssey, they have, I think it's a DLC where you can fight legendary Grecian creatures from Greek mythology. And I've had so much fun watching playthroughs of it, because I am a huge fan of Greek mythology. So I can imagine that it's a kind of the same thing in Red Dead, in that sort of way. I would love to watch that. I need to do a YouTube search after this.
Is it Odysseus you mean? Odysseus?
Odyssey?
Odyssey, isn't it that one?
I think it's Odyssey. Did I say Origins?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, Origins is the Egypt one, that's right. It's Odyssey, which is the Greek one.
Oh, yeah, okay. So, very interesting. How deep into the lore are you in Star Stable Online is the next question. So, I figured we'll start with the legendary herself, Esme. How deep are you?
Well, it's bad enough that my job title for a while was lore keeper.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow. So the thing with one of the reasons to why they wanted me there in the first place was simply because I had more in my head than copies had on paper. They didn't really have anything documented.
Oh.
And I had started with your Wikipedia myself.
Yeah.
So still to this day, when anyone has a lore question, they tend to go to me, which seems to be proof enough that I am too deep into this.
Yeah, yeah, true. Yeah, good answer. And I would say I am pretty deep since I have played the original games. I actually have to ask, in which countries have Starshine Legacy been released?
Say it's about 10.
10?
Not entirely sure. I don't know exactly what languages they were translated to. We did have a discussion about that a couple of months ago. I don't quite remember. I think that about 30,000 copies that were printed out.
Wow.
I know that they were released in Swedish, English, Norwegian.
Yeah.
Maybe, I don't know if it was Polish or Czech. I think it was one of them.
But then keep in mind, like, if those were released in 10 countries, Star Stable Online are played in 180 plus countries.
I don't think quite. I think it might have been that they weren't translated into more languages. I'm not sure how. I'm not sure. It depends a bit on the distribution of it through the distributed through. So something around that. I'm not entirely sure.
So, but there are going to be tons of players who have not played the game basically, and has to rely on let's plays on YouTube. Let's make some advertisement here. Esme has done let's plays of Starshine Legacy, both in English and Swedish, I believe.
Yes.
So if you want the lore, go and watch them. But yes, I have played the original games when I was a young, tiny girl. Read every dialogue in the game so far, at least. I have read every dialogue, and I am reading the books that are only Swedish so far. But I believe I could actually get better at reading the information, especially in like the journal we have for all the characters. I need to update myself there, and some of the newspapers and stuff. So yeah, I could be better. I could definitely be better. TC, you have not played for that long, so how deep are you into Star Stable lore?
Well, I do read all the dialogue that there is because I don't understand not reading the dialogue.
Yeah.
The only time I don't read the dialogue is if I'm doing it on an alt again.
Yeah.
That's the time that I will skip it unless it's something that I'm really, really keen to read again. But other than that, I always read the dialogue. Sometimes not necessarily all of it clicks, because I remember one time I did, I think, a Let's Play, and I didn't get it, and then somebody was like in the comments that said something, and I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
I haven't read the newspapers, but now that I know about the newspapers, I'm going to have to go look for them.
Exactly.
And I obviously can't read the book, but I'm trying to think, like, as I said, of the 3 of the Starshine Legacy games played, I've still one more. The reason I haven't played it yet was because I had trouble getting something that was going weird with my recorder, so I didn't want to have a recording that was,
risk it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to be able to play it and not have any problems with the recorder in it, so I'll have to go back to that. I think I've still the Autumn Riders to get. I don't know how much of that applies to Star Stable.
Much. You can get through the entirety of Star Stable without knowing anything about the previous Star Stable games, because they are more like just you are in Jorvik, you are here, and so they don't really add anything new. Because also all the old games are currently not really canon. Everything is being rewritten to be more coherent with what we want Star Stable to be today.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So like the books, for instance, it's like the new sort of canon.
The old games are there, and we still appreciate them and acknowledge that they are a part of our legacy. But the books are the new canon.
Yeah. Okay. Good to know. So, but it's still fun. It's like nostalgic with the old games.
The book will also be translated into English, and it's being looked into. So hopefully everyone will be able to read them soon.
Yes. I wish, because they're amazing. Oh, they're amazing. Okay. CC, how deep are you?
I would say what was just been said. I know a lot about the old games.
Yeah.
But the problem with the lore today is between the main story quests. There are usually a time lapse. Wow, words.
Yeah, I was like, what's going on?
Well, but yeah, for me, I kind of have a problem with memory. I do read every dialogue, and it's very important to me. But since there are some gaps in time between the quests, I just forget a lot of things, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
And then it takes away a little bit from the experience, because I just don't remember what has happened, and then it just is like, oh, here's a quest, like, oh wow, I'm sorry, I'm like words.
Okay. That's why we have TC.
Yeah. Thank God.
I get what you mean though, because if it's been too long, sometimes I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
What happened last time?
Oh yeah, like refresh my memory.
Yeah, so I get that sometimes. Like it's really easy to sort of forget what happened to maybe 6 months ago. It's a little bit different. It's like even maybe a month or two ago, but when it's like a lot further back, it's like wait, you know.
So
It's one of the huge drawbacks with having a game lore that's continuously being created as we go, since game development takes such a long period of time.
Yeah.
Even if we do have maybe 10 people on one story quest, it still might take them several months to have it finished. And we do know that is a problem, and it will be looked into more, because we of course want to be able to create content that will be easier for everyone to access.
Maybe that should be your new assignment, to make a book. Esme, that is for everyone to read.
Well, that's the big issue with print, because it's getting outdated very, very quickly nowadays.
Darn. Okay. But yeah, we do get what you mean, Cici. We do. Yeah.
So.
But you would say that you are pretty deep into the lore, even if you do forget sometimes.
Yeah, I'm definitely interesting, so I'm trying, but my memory is not on my side all the time.
No.
So yeah.
That's the point of being an adult, you forget everything.
Yeah, I'm always senile.
Yeah. Oh, it's so dark.
Yeah.
Okay, moving on. We already answered this, but when do you take in the lore? Is it your quests, or is it the journal you go to, or is it something else? TC, where do you go?
I would say that most of it's probably the dialogue for me, because that's where I started. I suppose that for me it's still the main source of it.
Yeah.
Like obviously if there's something I'm not really sure on, I might go and look it up elsewhere, or I think there's been the odd occasion where I maybe can't remember something, so I'll go and watch somebody else's video on something, so I can kind of get to grips with it again. I don't actually read the journal that much. In like the
it's
thing.
really good.
Yeah, but I feel like now there's more in it, so I should probably do that.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of backstory now in there for quite a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably something I should look at again. But I think for me it's still mostly the dialogue.
Yeah, okay. I would say the same. Mostly the quests and listening to other people who are like starting like a conversation where they talk about lore. I'll just take it in. I wish there were more YouTube. There probably are, now that I say it. There are probably a lot of YouTube videos with the game lore, and I just haven't found them yet. I should actually go find them. But yeah, mostly dialogues, and I am so going to read the journal and going to find those magazines. Okay, so let's move on then. Cici, where do you get the lore?
Well, I would, just like you guys, the quest, the journal. I love the journal. The cute little details, like the favorite food and the birthday and stuff like that. That's so cute. And I also love the Soulrider books. They are amazing. I mean, Helena Dahlgren is so cool.
Yeah, she's cool.
So yeah, I just really want them to go into English as soon as possible, because it's so good.
So we can nerd with more people.
So cool.
Yeah, okay. Esme, where do you take the lore? Everywhere, I guess.
To begin
are
with,
the
it was
lore,
of course
so-
quests,
Yeah.
but the last few years I have been able to have some inputs on the lore and have been able to add things I think would be nice. So
That's so
nowadays I don't really take it in as much as I did previously. Now it's more like the narrative director sometimes coming to me to what he says is a sanity check to see,
Yeah.
do you think this is absolutely insane or does it work?
Yeah.
And I usually say yes to mostly everything he does
Yeah.
because I think that we need to continue to explore everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I do voice concerns if I have any, which
Yeah.
is quite rare anyway because he's absolutely brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
Is it Marcus we're talking about, Turell? No.
No, he is currently not working with
Oh,
the
right.
narrative direction. So
Okay.
we have Jake, which you did see him during Star Stable Live
Oh,
this
yeah.
summer.
Oh, yeah, we did. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, Jake. We like Jake. Mm-hmm.
And Jake is awesome.
Yes, Jake is the best. Jake is our Lord and Savior now, so yes, so we know. When it comes to lore, anyway. Okay, so cool. But then you have sort of the power as well, so you're basically the Lord here. The Lord.
It depends. Nowadays it's not as much. It has been during periods, but I wouldn't say that I have much to say today. It might be
No,
that
okay.
I can ping in every once in a while and mention something and it might be added or
He's
Or
getting more
anything.
independent.
Yes.
Oh, they're growing up so fast.
Then what you're working on, and I am not working with the game in that sense, really.
Yeah, that's true.
As a content producer, you don't really add stuff in the game unless you have some crazy idea, which you can, well, voice to someone when you come running, looking like a madman, and they're like, "Oh no, what is it this time?" The usual reaction I do get.
Yeah. You should have you remember you had a live cam you put up when people got to the office for the first time? It should be up all day. For like just one day. Have it up everywhere in the office so everyone can just watch you work.
There has been discussions of having a Star Stable version of the office a couple of times.
Oh my god, yes.
I do think it would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes and yes. I'm on this. It's gonna happen. I will make this happen. It's gonna be my mission now. Okay. But then moving on. What of the lore on Jorvik do you like the best? I feel like now we're actually getting into the lore of this, not just around the thing of lore. We're going to be talking about the lore now. So what of the lore on Jorvik do you like the best? TC.
I want more with Pandoria. I'm very
Not
curious.
more. What do you like?
Well, I guess.
Different question.
Well, like I'm very interested in more about, I guess, those in Pandoria and around that. But I think what we've learned so far has been interesting, like with what we've heard from Evergrey and the witches that he talks about. So that part really interests me. That's a part that I'm like really curious about. It also would be nice to know more because I guess we kind of got that recently with Concord. Obviously, spoilers for anybody that hasn't done those particular quests. Just don't listen for a second because I am going to say it. But basically, we learned more about Concord and how that it didn't have to necessarily be stallions. Or geldings, there could be a mare. So I think for me that was nice as well, getting into that, and I guess for me that's one of the parts that I find most interesting. And I think if I had to pick just like one particular character for lore, it would actually be Evergrey.
Yeah.
I think he's one of the most interesting. He's one of those characters you really want to know more about.
Yeah.
And the backstory, and then the bits that you have got, you're like, I'll take more.
Yeah. Can I
a very
just
popular
add?
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Instagram takeover he did
Yeah.
was amazing.
My favorite was me at work.
Yes.
Absolutely astonishing.
Oh my god, the selfies were amazing. Oh.
It was an awesome collaboration between our narrative director and one of the content producers.
Oh, I want
Magic
more of that.
happens when
That needs to happen more. 'cause-
people collaborate.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh my god, it needs to happen more. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Back. TC, what were you saying?
But yeah, I think for me, that's like some of the most interesting lore for me, kind of around that. And obviously, we started to learn quite a lot about Yidris, but at the same time, a little bit. So that was also interesting because you were kind of learning more about how Pandoria worked, and different little pieces that were kind of left there, and you know, endless possibilities. And then the fact that he made the Zoni kind of. So it was like, we could get more magical horses from Yidris.
Yeah.
It's kind of, you know, things like that. So for me, I think that's what I've enjoyed the most out of those kind of things, and what I'm hoping for more of as well.
Okay. Esme, what do you love about the lore of Jorvik? What do you like the best?
Oh, I do like very, very much about it. Because, of course, this is something that I spend at least 8 hours a day. Well, deep into. But I do really enjoy the fact that this is a lore centered around horses, because usually in different media around horses, it's very childish, it's turned down a lot to appeal to very, very young kids.
Yeah, that's true.
And it often turns so cheesy and cringy that if you are a bit older, you can barely stand to watch it because it's too much. But this turns out to be more like, if you like horses, you can be here. It doesn't matter what age you are. It's still fun for everyone. As long as you like horses, it doesn't matter your gender, your age, your
culture,
commitment to horses before getting in here. Even I know a lot of people who doesn't know horses at all. They just went in there because it looked like a cool game, and they still think this is hugely fun. So the combination between fantasy and horses, I think, just it goes together so well, and I'm so happy to have this one product that doesn't really discriminate the age of people. When you get into this game, you can have so much fun with it, even if you are getting older and older.
Yeah, exactly.
Getting older and older, because we all have to grow older. You don't have to grow up, but you have to grow older.
Exactly. You have to do adulting. It's my favorite word nowadays. You might have noticed. Completely agree with you, especially since, I mean, equestrian in general is not just for kids. Like, I mean, I would say there are more adults actually working with equestrian than kids.
Yeah.
So it feels like, why do we have this view on horses and equestrian to be something for children in the media? While there are actually people working day and night for this, like adults. So yeah, I would agree that it is very good when it comes to that. Have I asked you, Cece?
No.
No, Cece, what do you think? My memory.
I agree with you, because it is unfortunate that in general that equestrians are looked down upon, you know, as a sport, and like horse games, it just kind of goes like the Barbie route, and that's very boring. So I actually started playing Star Stable Online when I was 19, and now I'm 26 and I'm still loving it. So that has never been an issue for me as an adult to enjoy the game, and that's really is a really good part. And I also would agree on that. I love the balance between, you know, sort of like everyday life with horses and equestrians, and then you have the fantasy and magic, and you gotta save the world from ancient evil from outer space.
Yeah, it is a very cheesy story in a way, but since it's worked upon so good, it's just great. No one cares. No one cares. It's cheesy.
My favorite part is the recent main story quest, where you really are getting to know the Soul Riders much.
Yeah, that's true.
Especially Anne. I really love the revamp of Anne, because she kind of didn't have that much backstory before. She kind of was like, oh, she's popular, gorgeous model, rich blonde girl. And she was like, oh, she's snooty and blah blah blah. And I was like, no. So it was like, she was kind of boring that way, which made me sad. But now she's like, she has so much heart, and I just love her, and she's kind of turned into my favorite. So I'm like, sorry, Lisa, I'm cheating on you.
But yeah, I agree that Anne has become a very empowering woman. She is like, no one mess with me. Like, you might think that I am a spoiled brat, but no, you're not messing with me.
Do you know what I loved? But this is totally a spoiler. So if you haven't done the Saving Anne quests, just spoilers ahead.
Yes.
I love that moment where you get her to the crystal.
Yeah.
And she says that she wants revenge.
Yeah.
That was like one of those moments where I was like, oh, okay, I was not expecting that, but I love it and it works.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because
you go like, ooh, we're gonna get drama.
Because I thought to myself, if somebody had killed my horse, I'd want revenge.
Exactly.
So I was like, I feel this, you know? So I liked that. I thought it was...
Yeah, it was really powerful.
Yeah,
I think we're gonna see a dark Anne, in a way, in the future.
I kind of like that, in a way.
Yeah.
So I kind of would. It did make me wonder that
She's a person now. She is a person, she has a character. She's not like, the rich blonde girl
stereotype
with that dressage, and she's like, everyone hates her because she's popular and perfect, you know. I kind of that kind of trope is very frequent in like horse books and TV shows. This one girl that is like the bully and like
it's highly overused.
It's so boring. So I'm so happy that she's I just love her now. She's so good.
Okay. I just realized I didn't answer. What I think what I like the best is the characters' background stories, which is so go against that I haven't read the journal, but I really need to get into reading the journal because that is what I think is the best. That it explains a lot of their actions in a way when you continue meeting them, you go like, oh, I totally understand why you did that because of that. Or it gives them a lot more character because you know what they've been through, which is basically the answer I realize now. But it just gives them more character than just, for instance, like you said, like a stereotype. So yeah, that is what I like the best. What was that? Weird voice. Moving on. Do you think there are any plot holes in the lore? Now, I am very excited about this because I do have one, and I have to be honest, I am not a fan of the fact that we can go to Pandoria whenever we want, even though we have been told that it is a dangerous place and we shouldn't be there for too long because then we would look like Anne. And yes, we can go whenever we want.
Can we not just look like Anne? I'd be okay with that.
Okay, but then we have that. I feel that should be this year's Halloween makeup. Pandoria makeup.
Pandoria sickness.
Yeah.
That was a cool suggestion.
Yeah.
Yay.
This is when we're dropping this, so Esme will tell everyone tomorrow. She will be running in the corridors.
Well, so I need to decide who to ambush tomorrow.
Yes.
They're gonna look at me and be like, oh no, there she is again.
And now you have Arisa. I was on the Soul Riders podcast. It's gonna tell you everything.
I definitely wanted to be able to put over the skeleton makeup though, because otherwise I'll be really sad.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Oof.
I know.
Okay.
I have large demands.
Oh yeah.
You can save the skeleton makeup, so you can have several makeups in your storage.
I know, but I can't
I
wear
want them
it.
All the features we have.
I want it all. Oh my god. Yeah. But yeah, that is my major plot hole in the lore. That I'm just. It's just not explained either in a way. It just sort of came in an update, and I understand because I know the community wanted to be able to go to Pandoria whenever they wanted, but it just felt like now you're sort of going against yourself in that way. So yeah, that is the major plot hole that I just.
That's a fair point.
And I refuse to go to Pandoria because I'm like, that's dangerous. I'm not going there.
Yeah, me too.
I think it's nice to be able to though, because if you decide that you kind of need to do it for to take a picture for anything, or that you really would like to go back, you could. And if you would like to have the roleplay aspect of not being able to be there for very long, you can always go back again. And still, you can only have one horse.
Yeah.
So it's up to each and everyone if you want to go there.
Yeah.
and I think it's nice to have the option. It's still kind of difficult to go there because you need to know where the portals are.
That's true. Yeah. But still, no. Yeah,
of course, you have a really fair point.
Yeah. Okay. But you who knows all the lore, Esme, do you feel that there are any plot hole you feel like, I wish we would fix this?
Yeah, I have a couple, but I can tell you one which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
Because when I started writing your Wikipedia many years back, I had some issues with Marley, Barney, and Carney.
Oh.
Because they had a quest line where they were talking about their old dad, who is named Ronnie Bob Summers. He owned the Bay Ridge stable in the old game The Spring Rider. And as a lore fan, I of course was super, really, really happy to find a character from an old game being referenced to in SSO. Yeah. So I was very confused when the three brothers were talking about his death, and like they all mentioned his death being at different points in time.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing is that it was kind of supposed to be like that, and then their sister was introduced, Courtney, a while later, and she went a step further and said that their dad actually was alive, but the brothers are completely insane. So nobody knew exactly which one was right. Yeah. And when I talked to the game designer who wrote that quest, he was like, I knew that you were very upset about this. Because I had mentioned somewhere in a blog post that I was very upset about them being so... that the brothers couldn't make up their mind. And that particular game designer, he's absolutely brilliant, by the way. I'm so sad he doesn't work with game design anymore because he's amazing at writing quests. He thought it was kind of funny, so of course he decided to make my life even worse. So thank you for that. But he's absolutely brilliant, and he made that just to, I think, kind of despite me, even though not long before I even came to visit at Star Stable. But of course, the Star Stable team always has kept track of players who are influential in the community. Because, of course, as you guys know as ambassadors as well, influencers in gaming communities do have a lot of say, like talking to their followers, fans, viewers, whatever. So I always had some influential blog posts and stuff, and that's why they followed me, and I could affect the game even though I didn't even work there. So that's a plot point that I always was very upset about. Now I think it's more funny, but I still need to get back at him at some point. How to figure out something. And still, that might change because we don't know if Ronnie Bob Summers is alive or what actually happened to him. So and that's still an open plot hole in SSO.
Yes. Imagine the day he would just walk into the game.
Exactly. We don't know. But then again, I have more plot holes, but I don't think I can mention any at this time because we are, of course, always moving forward with fixing stuff, adding stuff, also sometimes removing stuff simply because it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah, okay.
So some stuff might be removed from the game at some point, but that's only in order for us to be able to make the game even better.
Yeah, okay. But that was a good one that you gave at least. You gave at least one, so the other ones we would just have to guess ourselves. But love that one. I remember doing that quest and I thought it was funny, but I never really thought about I just figured it was a very big family drama, like the one on South Hoof.
And if you have, I don't know if this might also be a plot hole. We don't know yet, and hasn't ever been mentioned since the day he dropped. In Dino Valley, there's a guy called Harley. Might not. We don't know. I have no idea what's going to happen to him. So, who knows?
Oh my god, it's like he's a distant brother. Half brother, maybe.
Be a lost brother. Who knows?
The lost brother. Oh my god.
Wow.
Big family. Wow. Okay, Now we got so many questions in our head. But it does, as you said in the beginning, this lore is not. We're only scratching the surface so far. So, yeah. Okay. But TC, do you have any plot holes in the lore that you don't like?
I don't really think there's anything where I've been really, I guess, I remember when you mentioned the Pandoria thing a while ago, and I understood what you meant. But in my head, I was just going, maybe if I spend long enough there, I'll end up looking like Evergrey or something. You know, that was it. How
Oh my god.
That's how my head went. And then I think we talked about the brothers thing once before. I did with somebody. I just can't remember who it was. And in my head, I guess when I did that, I was just like, oh, family drama. I'm sure we'll figure it out eventually. So I never really, you know, worried too much about it. So I'm trying to think of some time where I was like, really thought there's something missing here, but I don't think there's anything that's really like kind of flung out at me in that kind of way with it. I mean, there's something that maybe I haven't fully understood, you know, sometimes. But as I said, like when Cece was mentioned earlier, sometimes you forget something from ages ago. So you kind of have to go and maybe look it up or whatever to figure that out. So I think that's really where I kind of stand with that. I don't think there's been anything that I can think of recently that was. And I suppose if there's something that happened 2 years ago, I'm probably not going to remember.
No. Okay. That's fair point. Okay, so Cece?
Yeah, I do agree with you, Rose, with the Pandoria. I have not gone there except for when there's a quest there. Well, actually, I actually have gone to Pandoria once by accident.
Nope.
Yeah, I was like, I think I was in Epona, in the marshes.
Yeah.
Looking for doing the archaeology.
Yeah.
And then I saw purple, and I was like, oh, purple, and then I just click. I was like, ah.
Oh no!
So that was the story when I went to Pandora back then.
Yeah, just completely forgetting the whole thing, like, oh, what is this purple glittering thingy?
Like,
Click! Oh, okay. Oh, only you.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just weak to purple.
Yeah, like, oh, I like purple. Click.
But yeah, it is kind of hard to remember plot holes or quests or something like that you. I do must say that the whole Carney Barney thing is. One other thing is I think, I don't know if it was around the potato festival or something, but the fact that you can feed your horses potatoes, and things like in reality are poisonous to horses. I'm like, no, please no. I don't like that. That's kind of I don't know if you could call it a plot hole, but kind of like a bad horse fact or something.
Yeah.
Do you have a very nice response to this? On Jorvik we have special soil, so everything we feed our horses is completely horse safe.
Trying to make that work.
I'm as an equestrian nerd, I'm kind of like, no, I don't accept that.
It's a parallel universe. We make up the rules.
Yeah.
Well, we could try.
Still, I'm kind of like, no potatoes for you, horse.
Oh
No.
my goodness. Okay, no. I'll have the potatoes.
Yeah.
I like potatoes.
So yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, it's discussionable if it is a plot hole, but yeah, it's definitely something.
Just kind of like, it's kind of like,
misfacts.
Yeah, like misfacts or like bad facts or like if you want to have like a game.
Yeah.
Specific theme and lore that's incorporated.
Especially when everything else is according to how it is, and then there is like this one thing that is.
Fine, we're talking horses, but not the potato.
Yeah.
So it, okay.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Magic and all.
Yeah.
That's true. We did have an episode about that.
Yeah. Maybe this is my problem with potatoes.
Just have a general problem with potatoes.
Yeah.
Måste Ylva hear you say that?
Oh.
No, I mean, like, I like potatoes, but I would never give a potato to a horse. No matter if it's like polygon horse or a real horse.
You never give Ylva to a horse.
No. I don't want to be
Oh my god. Oh, this is okay. Maybe we should move on. Okay. What do you think of changes when it comes to game lore? For example, character changing names, which has happened. For instance, the little girl at Paddock Island used to be named Lisa, is now called something else.
Lizzie?
Lizzie?
Something?
What's her name?
Something.
Okay, it's not Lisa anymore anyway. So changes like that. TC, what do you think of changes?
I think it depends on the change. I think if it's a change that's more beneficial, then it's a good thing. Although, I understand, like, sometimes it's hard to make certain changes because something seems to be quite, heavily rooted. Whereas, like, with her, when she changed her name, I was just kind of like, oh, she changed her name. But to me, she was never, like, a really particularly major character in that regard, so I don't think I was really bothered by that. I do still refer to that race, for example, that she's at as Lisa's race.
That's true.
It's still Lisa's race to me. But I guess in that regard, it does depend on the change for me, because there's certain changes that I think will probably be better than what we had. But I think it does depend on the context, and I think it does depend on the severity of the change as well.
Yeah, I have to agree. And also if it is done in a smooth way, I don't really mind it. Of course, some stuff might be needed, as you said, to really make the story work better. And I mean, I am flexible to the past, to see past it, or something I just forget it ever happened. But actually, I got to see there are still some people that are, especially when it comes to the Soul Riders being updated to new looks. Some are not still quite understandable, that it takes a long time to update them through the entire game. So I had to explain that it takes a long time, and so but there will be a point in time in the future when they are like fully updated, hopefully. But then she added that she doesn't really like as it is right now, how they just suddenly sort of did as she said, a surgically operation, and changed, and like they were bones and now they have real body. She felt like that change was too quick, and I can understand her, but at the same time I was like, but how would they have done it any other way? Would it be like an evolution, like Pokemon or something? Like they start shining and then they're like, oh, new, because that's more realistic. So I would say I'm okay with change. I generally forget it ever even happened.
I don't know why, but I never even thought of that as a change. To me, that was just an update.
Yeah,
and true. I didn't really think of it any other way. I never questioned it. So.
Yeah, well, she did. She saw it as a change. But yeah, as we all know, there are people that are not comfortable with change, and then there are people that just doesn't see why it's a big deal. And that's how it's always going to be. But Cece, what do you think of changes?
I really like the change with the name change with Lisa. Because having a main character like Lisa the Soul Rider, and then having like just a random NPC with the same name. I don't know.
I never even thought about that.
No, but at the same time, Lisa is a very popular name.
But
so it's not really weird.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but still, I don't know. And then I don't know if this is like a false memory in my head or something, but it kind of felt like there was a lot of Emmas at one point of time. Maybe. I'm just completely remembering it wrong. Maybe it's like,
everyone is named Emma.
I don't
Emma
know.
1, Emma 2.
But yeah, it is really important to have different names on the characters. No matter if they're NPC or something, because it's hard to find them otherwise.
Yeah.
That's why one of the reasons the journal is really good for that, to remember all the characters.
At least important ones.
But I do understand that it takes a lot of time to do the changes. Like I recently made a new account and played through it, and I was like, oh, I'm so excited for the new to replay it to see the new Soul Riders.
Yeah.
No. What are you thinking about? No. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna take a long time.
Yeah. And that's fine, you know. That's life.
Yeah.
You gotta wait for something if you want it.
Have they gotten anywhere? Because so far it feels like they are still only updated in the newer quest.
Yeah, it seems like that.
Well, currently, we can't really move forward with it right now because we are still waiting for some extra decisions. Because of course, when we need to get back into the game and change old things, you can't really go back and just switch. There's a lot of different things that needs to be taken into consideration, especially when these new characters have so many more animations. And if everything would have just been overwritten immediately, basically the entire game would have broken down. So things need to be very carefully changed and added. And also, currently we are going to kind of just map out how we want it to be, and then see how how it would be taken into action. Like, is it worth it right now to go into an change everything, or do we need to focus on making new content instead, so players can continue on and actually play the game moving forward?
Okay. Yeah.
So there's always there always has to be weighed back and forth and see what is worth it the most right now.
I also have one more thing. Also, I think I noticed when creating a new account recently, and that is the quest in the beginning you have with Tan and what's her name? Loretta. Yes, thank you. Because they have been changed when the big revamp of Moorland. I remember when I started playing, Loretta was super rude. She kind of made I don't feel welcome. I don't want to play anymore.
She was basically the stereotype we talked about before.
She was the character, the bully character. In every horse girl's reality ever. And the newer quests have made her softer and actually more friendly. But then when you progress some quests later, she and Tan are super. They get into the fight. You know the quest with the thief in Moorland, and they are super. They are so at each other, you did that, no, I didn't, and they super into each other, and I'm like, okay, so Loretta and Tan was they had been revamped to be more friendly, but then they're back to being really mean, and I was like, what? That didn't really make sense for me.
But at the same time, we're all a real person is not always nice. We always have our own sides, and we always have our different relationship with people. And I can imagine, since Tan and Loretta are so close, they know what buttons to push to get to that level. So I would say that it is a normal sort of fight between two young girls that just can get too dramatic and pointing fingers and stuff. So but
maybe I'm just the old naggy. Okay, you better get along. Don't be mean.
Exactly. How hard can it be to just get along?
Maybe I'm like that. Maybe I'm just old.
It's okay. It's okay to be old. Exactly, just as me. But we're old, apparently. Okay. Have everyone answered now?
I haven't said anything about this yet.
Oh, sorry. Yes, Esme, of course. I'm the worst today.
Well, talk about changes. One good example is what you guys talked about a couple of minutes ago about the changes with Anne. Because going from the stereotypical kind of mean girl, that's not really a person who we would like to have portrayed in Star Stable, especially not as a main character.
No.
Because to have her as the hero and just be
I mean,
blonde model girl as in every other
yeah.
IP there is wouldn't really make sense.
Yeah, no.
So one thing that's important to think about is that most of the things going on in Star Stable, as it is, especially in the beginning of the game, is based upon things that are today 15 years old in the old Starshine Legacy games. They were written by a bunch of men. It was only guys working on those games. While that was being developed into Star Stable Online, was still a bunch of guys doing the game. And now when Star Stable is one of the few gaming companies in the entire world being 50-50 women-men, it's even more important now to represent real girls, and not only the girls that some men in their 30s think like this is probably how a girl is.
Yeah.
So it's been a really, really important process to redevelop the Soul Riders, which has gone into making them having more modern looks, so they look like a girl living today, and also having personalities, so they actually are real living girls. And that's gone into like, it's been a very, very long process of a lot of people coming from different points of lives to have a look into it and see, are these real people? Has been a really important change to actually bring Star Stable forward. So sometimes, even though some people think that change is strange or difficult because they're used to old characters, it was necessary to be able to have Star Stable moving forward and be a game for years to come. Otherwise, like, there wouldn't be any characters to drive Star Stable forward if we hadn't have these Soul Riders. So also, that one vision that one person had 10-15 years ago can't be the one thing driving the entire game today.
No.
So sometimes change is difficult, but we need to embrace this in order to be able to grow, develop, and become better.
Yeah.
It is the mantra in the business world, basically. But that is true, and should be in all, not just business world. But yes, is what we say every time there's a change and someone has a problem with it. It needs to be repeated every day. Almost. But yeah, I totally agree with you, and it was definitely worth it. I mean, the characters are just a lot more, they are a lot more in general, and when you guys who speak English get to read the books, you will get it so much more even then. So it just all is put together and it's perfect. Okay. Last question for all of us to answer before moving on to the question to our guest. What do we want to know more about in the game in general? So, TC, what would you like to know? Even though you already sort of answered this before.
Well, there is actually other things, so kind of go into that a little bit.
Okay.
I think it was whenever I was playing the third Starshine Legacy game. And it was a bit where you're walking down like this sort of corridor, and there's all these different, like, almost like cave paintings, or like ruins with paintings on them. And it's kind of explaining, kind of, I guess, Garnock to a degree. And I'd like to see that maybe touched on a little bit more at some point, like that, because it was, I understood some of it, but I was like, I'm really curious to know more about this in particular.
Yeah.
Because it is something that you kind of get touched on a few times, but I feel like there's a lot more there that you sort of saw a little bit in Starshine Legacy.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of curious to see how it's going to kind of emerge through now in Star Stable. And obviously maybe, like, as you said, there's going to be some changes made.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of very curious to see how that kind of game lore is brought in to the game in future quests.
Yeah. I think those walls would fit perfectly in what is it called? The Guardian
Dale?
Yeah, in there when you go where you in the latest quests go.
Yeah.
Along those walls there would be perfect to have those paintings on, because they should be in the game in a way, and it would be so interesting to look.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I just like I did stop and I looked along. Because I was like, oh, okay, this is trying to tell a story, so that's why I remember stopping to actually take a look at those.
Yeah.
I think it would be nice to have, like, kind of like you were mentioning earlier, like more little Easter eggs.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, even if it's not necessarily there is a dialogue exactly.
Yeah.
It's possible that might be explained more in the coming books. I haven't had the time to read the second book yet, and also I try not to read it right now because I think that will mess my perception up a bit more. I need to have the third book in order to be able to grab my head around what's going on now.
Yeah.
And I do know most of the points in the book anyway. Since of course it has been discussed a lot around the entire team or many people in the team. But I don't doubt that will be made more clear in the future because of course it's a very interesting point on how this entire fight against the dark came to be.
Yeah.
Because I think for me that's something that I know that we're fighting them, but I want to know more about why we're fighting them.
Yeah.
Because somebody pointed out one day, well, it was like, I know it's very unlikely, but it was like, what if we were actually the bad guys one day to me? And I was like, I don't think we are, but imagine if we were.
Wow, that would be interesting. What if we are the Dark Generals, actually? Oops. But that in a way, why we're fighting them, I think you will get when you read the books. Because that is sort of a bit more explained there.
Yeah.
In the new canon, basically. It needs to be in English!
Working on it!
So slow. I'll fix it! No. No, I won't. But okay, Cici, what do you want to know more about?
Well, I really love the Dino Valley, and I really miss it because we haven't, had really a reason to be there for years, basically.
Yeah.
And there are so many really good options there. There's so many mysteries, like Nick's weird fridge and the origin of the Celtics and the Isendel.
Yeah.
There's even an Ice Queen or Ice and Bigfoot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that Bigfoot.
Oh, and then Cloud Kingdom. The magical sky castle things like that. Those are kind of like kind of teasing there.
Yeah.
They're also interesting. I like and I definitely want to go visit Isendel and like, hi.
Yeah. If we want to go past that big door.
Yeah, I mean it's a beautiful door.
But can it be opened?
Yeah, I've been excited. I really want to go in there.
Yeah.
So cute.
That is true.
The truth about the fridge is, next fridge is actually one of Dangercake's many fridges full of cake.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is her starter horse, Esme.
Yes.
I kind of figured.
Yeah, Dangercake.
Yeah, he has a lot of those around Jorvik.
Okay.
So, that's just one of them. Nick just looks after for him, so.
Oh, how sweet of him. Okay, what do I want to know more? And that, I guess, now I need to read the journal. But I was thinking, so far the journal is only about characters. And I would like to know more about different locations that we have in the game, like Hollow Woods or the castle. All the forts and so on. So more like history of locations. Would love that.
You would say that.
Oh? What is this? Oh?
Teaser! Now bye!
What? No.
You can't just say that and just move on.
Yes, I can.
Oh my god.
She
Okay,
has the power.
she has the power.
Yeah.
Okay.
Power of Redine!
Oh my goodness. Okay, but Esme, what would you like to know more about in the game that you feel are missing?
I would like to dig into the Dark Riders because we know that they are there. We don't know their backstory. We don't know their motives. We don't know why they are hanging out with Mr. Sands and wanting to do his work. I would like to dig into them and discover more in the game about what they are actually doing.
Yeah, that's true. In the books, they are painted as from the author's point of view, I guess, is a lot darker than they actually are in the game so far. Yeah. And that's what I get the feeling of anyway when I read the books, that they are like extremely evil, and that they are very mysterious characters. You do get more from the books, but as you said, there's still a lot we actually don't know.
Yeah.
So it's true. True.
Also, I would really like to have them in some new version as well as with the Soul Riders, because I think that they would look epic and they would be more terrifying as villains if they didn't look like they came from the 90s.
Yeah. I still want their clothes though.
Same here.
Yeah, I want them for Halloween at least. Can I have? Please. Another wish, by the way. So Pandoria makeup and Dark Riders gear. Yep, that's what we want. Yeah. Okay, so I guess we're done with all the questions that involves all of us. Yeah. We are moving on to the questions to our beloved guest, Esme. Are you ready?
Holy fripp, yes.
Holy fripp, I love that. Holy fripp. Gonna use that. Okay. Why did you want to create your Wikipedia?
Story time! So, once upon a time, when I started playing Star Stable, I wanted information about Star Stable. I wanted to know about game lore, I wanted to know about features, and when you googled around, there were nothing. Because
nothing.
There were no documentation about this game because it was so new. So, one day after having a Google session, I got really, really angry because I couldn't find anything.
Yeah.
So I decided to do something about it. And thus, your Wikipedia was born.
Oh.
It's a Star Stable wiki, I might add. And we renamed it your Wikipedia after a couple of years.
Yeah, okay.
All right, there was a poll about that, right? I remember.
It was.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh.
That's a real canon for you people, a real story. Should be made into a movie. No. That would be amazing though. Okay, so next question. Now that you work at Star Stable, has it become harder to nerd about lore, or is it at another level of nerding now?
Oh, it is so at another level. Partly because I can just ask basically anyone who's working with the lore about what they have planned for the future. And sometimes they might even come to me and ask for suggestions or want their memory freshened up, being like, okay, so do you know what happened there and what happened there, and if they ever met or something like that? And I can confirm or say no or add something. And also, I mean, like that some people are very passionate about the story, even though they aren't directly involved with it. For example, Game Master Ylva is one of my best friends, and we are sitting next to each other at work, and we are the nerdiest nerds there are. So we tend to nerd a lot, and every time we do, any of us get some sort of new information, we always go to the other one being like, hey, did you hear this? And then we just gossip for a while about whatever happened in the game, and then one of us will get an idea. That person will run off to someone to talk about it. The other one will follow right after. People will look up and be like, oh no, it's those two again.
And I can see how you run in a fun way, like da.
Nowadays, she goes on a scooter and I run after her.
Oh, okay. Oh my god, that needs to actually also be recorded. Okay, so it's a whole nother level of nerding, and I can imagine. Oh, I wish I had it. Okay. The game has the journal now, where we can read about the characters. Do you wish there were more lore to be read about in there? If so, what could that be?
I really like your thing about being able to read about the locations.
Yeah.
I think it would be great to be able to read up about reputation factions as well, because they sometimes have really interesting backstories.
Yeah, okay.
And I also really would enjoy to have some sort of diary summarizing old quests. So you could go back and be like, okay, so what happened in what order? And you could go back and see more like how everything fits together.
Yeah. Oh my god, yes.
That would be something that I would be really happy to have one day. And I don't know if that will happen, but if I was in charge, I would make it so.
But aren't you in charge? Well, you can gather an army.
That's way above my pay grade.
Oh. But if you have an army...
An army of angry Star Stablers being like, hello!
We don't have to be angry, just very determined. Okay. Yeah, it might work. Okay, what do we feel, people? Are we done with lore? We are never really done with lore. But do we feel done with it today?
Yes.
Is there any questions that has popped into your head?
I can't think of anything at the minute.
Esme, you feel done? Or you never feel done?
I'm quite content.
Okay, good. Okay, then I guess we're leaving it here. And if you, as a listener, feel like we have not touched this or that or whatever happened to that, leave that in the comments below, because we do believe we're going to return to this topic sometime in the future. And if you leave that question, we are going to save it and take it up next time. So yes, moving on to our next segment, which is our favorite and least favorite update of March. Who wants to start with their least favorite?
Give me 1 second to
Okay,
just open the thing.
I'm
the page.
starting. Okay, I can start. My least favorite, I have to say, is the traveling market. And it did come with some good stuff, but to be honest, I haven't used any. If I ever bought some, I believe I bought, but I didn't use any. It was it has been a lot of Western recently, and there has been a lot of colors that just haven't been my style, I guess. So yeah, it's just, of all the stuff that has come, I just have to say, like, nah. It was my nah this month. But yeah, okay, so yeah, that was my least favorite. But my favorite, I have to say, is the quest with Emma. It was so refreshing to do something a bit more relaxed and fun after all the story quests.
Yeah.
I love the story quest, but it was just like, okay, Emma, you want a horse? I'll of course help you. And it was adorable. And I just loved the quest in general. It was perfectly done. It was fun. It did bring some important facts into it, and how important it is to really put that buying a horse is just not going and put money into someone's hands.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work around it. And so even though you did miss on the fact that you don't really have a ceremony, and when you buy the horse, you actually do write papers.
Yeah,
they're actually money being. Yeah, but it was very cute, and I understand why in a way that there was in. But yeah, so yeah, that was my favorite of March. Cici, what was your least favorite?
It's kind of like, it's not really. It kind of feels like least favorite is so.
Don't ever go to Danish again.
So, but the thing I picked, I'm gonna sound like a horse.
Okay, it's okay.
Like,
it's okay to be mean sometimes.
Yeah, it's the soul searching, but because of a good reason. Because I do enjoy it. Cute, and the foals are adorable. You know, you get happy when you see them. But it just kinda, I was kinda hoping for a bit more. Because it was like, yeah, you get friends with the foals, then you get 500 Jorvik shillings, and then you're done.
Yeah.
And I was like, but I want more.
Yeah.
I want
maybe not Jorvik shillings, for instance, because we don't really have the use for them in the game so far, or they have lost their value in a bit.
Yeah. For me as an adult, you know, I
as an adult.
Yeah. But for me, like, Jorvik shillings, like, nice, I guess. But but I guess for younger players or players rider, 500 Jorvik shillings is so for that reason I'm happy for that. But for me, I don't know. I just want, so kind of was like, yeah.
Okay. Okay. It's okay. I understand. Okay. What was your favorite then?
My favorite was also the quest with Emma, because Emma is actually one of my favorite NPCs. She's adorable.
Yeah.
I love her. Whee!
Yeah. She's so cute.
And I actually, as a new player, when I started playing many years ago, I used to role play kind of quite a lot. And back in those days, you couldn't that many horses.
No.
So I kind of roleplayed that Emma was a person that helped me with my starter horse Goldheart when I was riding my other horses. Because I was like, I'm having like 4 horses now. Take care of them.
Oh,
every day, so I need time.
like a co-rider.
Yeah, totally. So Emma was that.
Oh, and now she has her own horse.
Yeah, so it's like, it was like really good for me on the personal. So it's like, Emma, good for you.
That even made it better.
Yeah, it really did. So I was like, yes, I love you, Emma. And I must say that Emma's new style, I mean, she looks gorgeous.
Yeah, she looks very
I
good.
love her necklace, her new nail polish, her... She didn't wear helmet though.
No. Yeah.
And that drove me mad. I was like, no.
Safety first.
You do not, and you certainly really do not go to a horse you don't know and ride it for the first time without a helmet.
That's true.
That's like a double no. You don't.
Where was that helmet?
But you don't ride a horse you don't know without a helmet. That's double no. I was like, no.
Don't ever ride a horse without a helmet, I'd say, but...
Yeah. But double no if you don't know it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good point. Good point there. Okay. Esme, what has been your least favorite update? This is so interesting.
I will have to be quite diplomatic here because I don't think the least favorite update because I see all the work that goes into them. And also seeing that it's my colleagues that I meet every single day who makes them, I don't really like to different them in like, I like this way more than this one. But if I can say something very good about each and every update for this month instead. For example, the Traveling Horse Market, I enjoyed a lot because I was the one who picked out the outfits for the Pindavians, which was really fun.
Oh, okay.
Also when like everyone is like, we don't know what to do with them, and I'm like, I can pick them out.
Yeah.
So that was really fun.
Yeah.
Also, I really enjoyed the clothes in there. I've been using them a lot. We got the new Clydesdale horse in the Star Stable Horses app, and that one is gorgeous. I love it. Gotig Pony is amazing.
Yeah.
Our animator who worked on it did a really good job to do a rework of animations, and the horse artist Lisa did an amazing job on all the coat colors. Also, we have our first horse with double eye colors now, and hopefully that will continue on moving forward. Of course, that's not something that can change on older horses, but for future horses, it is possible now, and it looks amazing. I really enjoyed the foals from the springtime update. I think it's very nice that even when you are done with the foals and have reached the friendly level with them, you can still use the follow feature to have them follow you around in quite a large area. So you can take cute pictures and stuff. Very cute.
Yeah.
And of course also the Emma quest line I think is very nice. I really love all the horses you got to meet. I really hope you can buy them all at some point in the game because I love Clyde the Clydesdale. I think Seraphim is adorable, and of course Muddy is such a little cute. So all the horses Emma got to meet was absolutely amazing. I really hope that they will be for sale one day, and I think her storyline was really good. And I know there was a lot of really good work from the game designer who worked on puzzling the quest together, so she should have a lot of kudos for being able to put all of that together, even though she had a lot of different projects going at the same time. So she did a really good job.
Yeah, kudos to her. Like it was a good quest line. Really enjoyed it. Okay, I see your point. I always try, but it never works when we have someone from Star Stable. Like, do you have a least favorite? They go like, not falling for it. Like, okay, but it was a good solution you had there. So yeah, okay.
If I would have worked on something myself, I could have picked that as my least favorite. But I am supportive of all my colleagues.
Yeah, I understand. You do have work. You have to go there tomorrow as well. So yeah. I understand. Okay, TC, your least favorite because you don't have to go there tomorrow.
My least favorite, I think, out of everything was probably the foals. Now, the criticisms that I have of the foals was kind of what Cece was saying. What I loved, like, I only recently did the Rescue Ranch, and every single comment was, wait, you're only doing this now? Yes. I don't know why, but when the Rescue Ranch came out, I couldn't do it the day that it came out, and then I just left it, and I just left it. But what I loved about the Rescue Ranch is there was a really nice story around that, whereas I kind of felt like with the mares, we had to go around and find them. There wasn't that for me, and I kind of felt like, okay, I was doing it, but then it was just... I know you did get rep, but I don't know where I am with rep. and you also got the shillings. And I don't really use my shillings, so I think for that reason it would kind of be my least favorite. Like, they're cute, but like that you get to do different actions with them. The only other thing, and this is just from a personal experience, because the whole, like, you're there to just make sure that the foal's safely born.
Yeah.
One experience that I had was a mare who rejected her foal because there was too many people outside the stable during the time that she foaled. So, like, there's that little part of me that when I was doing it, I was like, no, I should just leave them alone. If I can see for a distance that the foal's okay, I should just not be here. Let the mare and the foal bond.
Yeah.
So I know it's in the game and it's not realistic. But there's just that little part of me who was like, no, I shouldn't be here because they need to bond. It's very important to bond. So that's just
It's good that you say that, though, because it is very important to keep in mind that what we learn in Star Stable should never be applied upon real horses.
Yeah,
It's true.
That's the thing, because witnessing a mare reject a foal was soul crushing.
Yeah.
It really, really was. So like, for me, I was just like, oh, it kind of brought up that memory.
Yeah. Oh no.
And I was kind of like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this. But obviously, at the same time, as you said, you should never take what you have in the game and apply it to life. Now, moving on to kind of saying what I thought was a really good lesson was the Emma storyline.
Yeah.
I loved that kind of touched on, things you should really think about, and it was very clear that Emma didn't have a clue what she was doing.
Yeah.
Like, whenever she said, oh yeah, I'll respect the key of Emperor, I think was the dialogue. I loved that. It was really silly, it was just fun and enjoyable, and I thought it was nice, as you sort of say, coming from very serious quests and kind of going into that, and I just loved that. I thought it was just nice to have something silly, and I remember when she was like, ew, towards Mudskipper, and I was like, don't hurt his feelings, he's just got a bit of mud on him. Like, so judgmental. And and the thing was, I've like met people who are like that in real life, and I'm just like, you know what, if you don't like the horse, then I like the horse.
Exactly. I was like, I love this horse now.
So, because I was like, I'll take, because I remember when I was doing the last play, I was like, I'll take Mudskipper home.
Exactly. Just because you said that, he's mine now.
So I thought there was a really nice story around that. I liked the fact that at the end she kind of saw the error of her ways, so to speak, but at the same time they touched on the fact that a rescue horse, for example, is a really big responsibility, and it should not be, you should not go into that in any shape or form as a novice. Like, I've even had people who are experienced have trouble with rescue horses. So like, that I thought was a really good point as well. So I liked that for that thing, that it was bringing in a lot of important lessons, like having the vet check, having the farrier check, you know, not just throwing and saying yes, because I've seen so many times where people buy a horse and they're not the right person for that horse. It's not that the horse, there's nothing wrong with the horse, it's just they're not the right person for that horse. And I think that was nice. That was a nice lesson. So yeah, I really enjoyed that.
And so bringing in the vet check and everything, I felt that was a very important part, that you can't just go and buy a horse without having it really thoroughly checked. But touching that was very nice. So that was our favorite and least favorite updates of March, because we all said we all said our points. So moving on to our monthly wish preferably something involving the topic. And as usual, me, TC, and CC only have one wish, while Esme can have two, because she's our guest, and she's the Lord now. So let's start with you, Esme. What two wishes do you have for the game?
One thing I would really enjoy was if the main story quests were replayable. Because in that case, you could always go back and double check before you head into new quests and see what actually did happen way back then. So that's something that a lot of players have been requesting throughout the years, and we'll see if that would ever happen. We do know that a lot of players are interested in having a feature like that. And this is actually
how it would work, though.
And that's also, like, of course, this has been brought up for discussion many times at Star Stable HQ, because we know that many people would like it. I know it's a common misconception that we don't discuss things people want, like, for example, dressage. Of course, it's something we discuss, and the reason to why some things just don't magically show up is because they demand so much discussions and just a million discussions before we can actually get into what do we want to do in order to make it be fun, playable, and repeatable.
Yeah.
So it's not like we're not interested. It's more like we are so interested that it's taking a lot of time because we want to do it right. So
good answer.
Replayability is something that we are discussing, and we don't yet know if that's something we can do in a good way.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Okay.
And I think I will have to think a bit about my second guess because I'm not entirely sure yet.
Okay. Then let's move on to our Cici. What's your monthly wish?
Well, I kind of want to go back to the Celtics and Isendal.
Okay.
I just want to go in there and.
Okay. Yeah. You want to go into the ice port? Yep.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Okay. Okay. TC.
I want to be able to have Pandora makeup, but I can layer on my current makeup.
So you want both? Yeah.
Yes. Because I know this is probably annoying, but like, for example, you know the way you can only have one face accessory?
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to be able to have multiple face accessories.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know.
me too.
Because, like, if I have the eye patch on,
Yeah.
I can't put a beard on.
Yeah.
And if I have a beard on, you know. So I guess I'd kind of like it as a another face accessory, and maybe more slots for more face accessories. Because, like, some people want to be able to wear earrings and sunglasses,
Yeah,
etc.
that's true.
So I'd like something like that, maybe. in the
Okay.
future.
I would like a library. Well, we do have a library, but I would like it to have where we can find a lot more lore, basically, like a place for it, not just something that we can carry on wherever we want, and like a real place that if you want to go and find out lore, you can go to the library at Silverglade and you can find everything.
Yeah.
So that would be nice. Esme, have you figured out your second wish?
Yes, and I would say that it would be something around the Winterwell family. Do any of you remember what that would be?
In Epona.
Yeah.
So around New Hillcrest, there's a family called Winterwell, and the most famous person from that family is Ricky.
Yeah.
And it was a story around the Winterwells, which was laid out many years ago. But lightly hinted at some point, nothing more happened, and I would really like that to be more explored.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, because now they're just there, and whenever you go to the house, you feel like something is like you're supposed to be evil, but I don't know what you actually done.
You're talking about the Buttergood family.
Oh no, yeah, the Buttergood. Oh right.
They're also a part of that because there are a couple of different families around Epona.
Yeah.
Which never has been delved into more deeply, and I think that Epona deserves some more attention, and also maybe a graphical update.
Yeah.
Well, now when Silverglade looks so amazing, I can't wait to have the rest of Jorvik looking.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for Hollywoods.
Oh, yes, so are we all.
Yeah. Like, I'm hoping this year at least. Please, my beloved woods. But
I have no doubt it's gonna be amazing when it does happen.
Yes, of course. Oh, okay, that was our last segment, and I guess we're done for this episode. If everyone feels okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, we want to thank you, Esme, for taking the time. You have so much to do, but you got your time to sit here with us. Whee! Hey!
This was fun. It was really fun to join in here today.
Yeah, and maybe in the future when we're touching the topic or again, we can invite you back again.
Maybe.
It would be awesome.
No, it would be really fun to join in again.
Yes, great. Okay, but we're ending it here, people. Remember, if you have any questions, we just started discussing that we might release the topic we're having for next episode. That if you have any sort of questions you would like us to talk about for the next topic, just leave them to TC and she will gather them up, basically. So yeah, because we figured, of course, you don't. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, we are ending it here. Thank you, Esme, for joining, and thank you, TC and CC, for being here as usual every month. And we will see you or hear you or whatever in April.
Yes.
Next month. Or this month. I'm so confused of time. And it's late now. So, remember people to stay awesome as always, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye!
Bye!
Bye!